Go deep! Raiders skate by the winless Jets. Runnin Rebels secure their first win of the season. We had some controversy out of our UNLV football team. More Golden Knights trade rumors, and our Las Vegas Aces draft lottery has been revealed. It's episode 20 of Heat and Love. So I do imagine John Gruden was kind of looking like Chucky during the game, or at least the final moments of the game, because, again, when you look at the final score, it was like, oh, it came down to the wire, but Raiders seemed to be like they were in control, and then, there's some issues down the stretch that we'll get into. But again, yeah, because you never want to be that team to give the opposing team their first win. The Steelers just lost to the Washington football team on Monday, and so again, no undefeated teams are left. The 72 Dolphins can pop those bottles. They are the only team to go undefeated and win the Super Bowl, so that is still intact for them. But the Raiders, when you look at it, they didn't play a bad game. Derek Carr, 381 yards. He had 3 touchdowns. He did have an interception, but overall was good. His prime target for much of the season has been Darren Waller, and he had one heck of a game. 13 receptions for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. I really like Darren Waller. He is, kind of a bigger... I don't know if you would say he's a tight end or a wide receiver. I mean, he does have speed. I'd maybe put him as maybe a bulkier... I don't know, a bulkier wide receiver, slimmer tight end. He can do a lot, and like I said, he had a huge game, but, and injuries kind of played a factor. There was no Josh Jacobs. He was out with a sprained ankle, and he actually did not practice on Wednesday, so his status is uncertain for the Sunday's game against the Colts. Also on defense, no Jonathan Abrams. He was out because of a knee injury, although he did practice on Wednesday, so he's looking more probable than Josh Jacobs. But Devontae Booker got most of the snaps at running back, and he, didn't have a rushing touchdown. The only rushing touchdown actually came from Derek Carr himself. So, you look at it, they didn't have a bad game. They were actually up 24-13, the Raiders, going into the fourth quarter, and then things started to fall apart a little bit. Sam Darnold scored a touchdown, cut the deficit to 24-19, and then they got a 2-point conversion, which they failed the first time, but there was a defensive pass interference on the Raiders, so they got another chance, and they capitalized. They got within 3, and about 2 minutes later, they were driving down the field. Derek Carr hits Henry Ruggs for a first down. Henry Ruggs cuts up the field, but then fumbles the ball. Jets get it in Raider territory, and all of a sudden, they score another touchdown, give them a 28-24 lead. Raiders got it back, drove down the field, actually scored the potential game-winning touchdown at that point by Hunter Renfrow, which would have put them up 31-28, but there were offsetting penalties. So they had to try again. It was on a 4th down. They failed. Jets got it back, 3 and out, and then with no timeouts left, the Raiders started at their own 39-yard line, 35 seconds to go. You're saying that's almost an impossible situation for most teams outside of maybe like a Kansas City, a Green Bay. There's some teams that have, the Seahawks, those quarterbacks that can do it. This was Derek Carr's kind of moment for him to prove, hey, okay, we got no timeouts. We got to charge down the field, get a touchdown. And, last play where they scored with Ruggs, it was a 46-yard touchdown. Now, here's the weird thing. The Jets did fire Greg Williams, their defensive coordinator, after the game, and that's because they were covering Ruggs one-on-one. Usually, when a team needs a touchdown, they send all the safeties and everybody back. They didn't do that. And so, so by them failing to do that, Ruggs is gonna burn you. And he burned the quarterback, who happens to be named Lamar Jackson, who, I kind of feel bad, because if you're named that, and then you got the, Ravens quarterback, I'm like, ooh man, rough time to be a Lamar Jackson, but Ruggs burned him. He got the touchdown. In a lot of people's minds, maybe even me, you kind of feel, did the Jets do that on purpose? Are they tanking to try and get Trevor Lawrence? I mean, they've had Sam Darnold for a couple years, but Trevor Lawrence is looking like the real deal. Not like State Farm. I wanted to make that joke. I don't know. Did the Jets do it on purpose? I have no idea, but it happened. The Raiders won the game. They improved to 7-5, which is vital. They are sitting in the 8th spot in the playoff position. Top 7 go to the. It's expanded this year because it's usually the top 6 teams. But with everything going on, the NFL decided, hey, we'll take the top 14, top 7 teams from each conference, and so that means they just need to move up one more spot. And who occupies that spot right now is the Indianapolis Colts, who come to town on Sunday, and it's a pivotal game. Every game here on out, because 2 weeks from now they are going to face the Dolphins, who are in the 6th spot. So the Raiders kind of control their own fate, if you will, and they're going up against Phillip Rivers, longtime Chargers. They've played in the division with the Raiders. He's very familiar with the team. He actually has 18 wins against them, which is the most wins he has against any franchise. So he's kind of controlled the Raiders. Obviously, he's in a different uniform, and this Raiders team is built different as well. So I'm expecting a pretty good matchup, and I think, again, the Raiders know how big this game is, and if they play how they did last weekend against the Jets, they're not going to win it. Again, for much of the game, they were playing well. Then in that 4th quarter, they make some mental mistakes and find themselves down, and hey, we got to charge for a last-minute touchdown. So I think if they can correct a lot of those things, it'll prove to be better, because they got to be at the top of their game if they want to make it into the playoffs and actually go deep into the playoffs, advance. So I'm expecting them to bounce back, really play a lot better than they did against the Jets. I think that was kind of a wake-up call, we can't just skate by teams, and you definitely can't overlook the Colts. Not that they should be overlooking them. So we'll see what happens. It's a pivotal game, and again, they control their fate because they play them, and then in 2 weeks they play the Dolphins, who both occupy the wild card spots. So Raiders, it's all in your hands. Looks like they're going to have Jonathan Abrams back, but not Jacobs quite yet. But they still have enough to get it done. So we'll wait. We'll see what happens. Darren Waller, shout out to you, 200 yards. That seems to be Derek Carr's favorite target. And hey, Ruggs, he's showing stuff. I mean, former Alabama wide receiver. He's got the speed. He's got the skills. He's going to be a big-time player. So hopefully you guys play much better. You're going to need to. So our Runnin Rebels, I know record-wise it seems a little rough, but they did secure their first win against Kansas State, and now they're 1-4. Yeah, again, you look at the record they're not doing so well. They've actually been playing really well, just haven't been able to finish games off, and they've had a tough schedule out the gate. But they did win against Kansas State, who is mightily struggling this year. This is a team that finished top 25 last year, and they're usually within that a top 25 team, and this year's not looking too good. They actually just lost to Fort Hays State, and you're thinking, who exactly? They are a D2 school. I believe it's the first time, don't quote me on that Kansas State has lost to a D2 school. I went to a D2 school in Dixie State. So yeah, things not looking really good for Kansas State. But for UNLV, on the other hand, David Jenkins, again, he was kind of talked about being this big star, transferring, and hasn't really been playing that well. But every game he's been playing better. This game was kind of his breakout game. Finished with 25 points. Bryce Hamilton, who's been the most consistent, added 18 points, and then Caleb Grill added another 12. So they played good. UNLV shot 52% from the field, 44% from 3, and they held Kansas State 36% from the field and 29% on threes. However, the big thing that UNLV needs to fix is the turnovers. They had 16 of them. So that is something that is really going to need to be corrected. And but again, a win is a win. They got it done. And I think, if Jenkins can play the way he can, Bryce Hamilton's been playing amazing. Caleb Grill has been giving them some spark. Dembele, if we can have, consistency, UNLV can get on the roll, especially, once we get to the conference play, Mountain West, which is coming up. They were supposed to have a game on Wednesday against Eastern Washington. That was canceled due to COVID concerns on the UNLV side. It wasn't disclosed who, but they did report that a player on UNLV did test positive. So, obviously praying for whoever that is and hope that they improve and get better. This is a scary thing. Just remember, try to do your part, stay at home, wear your mask if you do go out, because this is real. And so, again, and actually for Eastern Washington, they've already had 2 other games canceled, which was against Northwest and Montana Tech. So this was their 3rd cancellation, which really sucks for them. And we can see that over the course of the season, cancellations, postponements. So we'll have to see what happens. For UNLV, they do have a game on Monday against Pepperdine. And this will be their final game before conference play, which kicks off next Sunday on December 20th. And actually, kind of next week, I'll go into the rankings of where the Mountain West Conference is. As we get ready for that, we kick it off against Wyoming. So it should be fun. Again, I do think right now there are cancellations, but I feel like once we get to conference play, there might be postponements, just depending. I say that because it's conference. I think they're going to want to play those games. I think these games that are kind of exhibitions, like, we can cancel it. It's not that big of a deal. But we'll wait and see. COVID kind of just still is running the world right now, so it's crazy. But again, just praying for everybody's safety and everything. And I'm glad for UNLV. They finally got over that hump, and I think it's going to give them tremendous confidence going forward. Coach TJ, he's doing an incredible job in his 2nd year. I see a lot of promise with this team. So we'll have to wait and see how it all pans out. I will let you know that San Diego State is undefeated. Are we really that surprised? Not me at least. So, but hey, maybe UNLV can knock them off this year. We'll have to wait and see. UNLV football, it's kind of dicey right now. You got some internal controversy, not even due to COVID, which has canceled 2 of their games. They're having their season finale tomorrow against the University of Hawaii. And obviously it's been a rough first year for Coach Arroyo. Haven't won a game, so hopefully they can do that tomorrow. But it's going to be interesting who's going to be playing quarterback, because the starter for most of the year has been Max Gilliam, and he's done a decent job. Obviously hasn't resulted in any wins, but he is a senior quarterback, and he apologized. He came out with this apology because he was on this reality show called Below Deck, and he did something, so he apologized. And I'll just read it to you real quick. He said, I would like to apologize for my poor judgment while on the TV show Below Deck and acknowledge that I have made a mistake that I will learn from. While it was not my idea nor any of my friends' idea to eat sushi off a model, I should have exercised better judgment and declined the idea immediately when it was brought up by the producers. This is not a reflection of my character or the way I was raised, nor a reflection of the culture of UNLV football. I would like to humbly move past this and focus my time and energy on our game against the University of Hawaii this weekend. So he was on the show, apparently ate sushi off a model. It came to light, you got to be careful, especially, if you're an athlete. Things will come out, and it did. And again, he came out with that apology, and UNLV said obviously this is not a reflection of us either. So it's going to be very interesting. Again, he's a senior from Thousand Oaks, California. Will he get his final start tomorrow, or will Coach Arroyo go with sophomore Justin Rogers, who's done a decent job, or the freshman Doug Broomfield? Those are the other active quarterbacks on the UNLV roster. They're sitting in the bottom of the Mountain West, obviously not going to a bowl game. They're the only winless team. The top 4 spots are San Jose State at 5-0, Boise State 4-1, Nevada 6-1. Ugh, boo Nevada, and then San Diego State at 4-3. So we're gonna see if Coach Arroyo can get more of his talent into next year. For Max Gilliam, I mean, hey, I accept your apology. I think we all do dumb things we don't think about in the moment, and then the repercussions come out later. But again, you got to know, if you're a quarterback for a big university or even a small university, you got to be careful about that stuff, because eventually it's going to air, it's going to come out, and now, there's controversy. And so I feel bad, but we'll have to see who Coach Arroyo goes with at quarterback. And for UNLV football, can they bring more talent? The offense has been looking good. The defense is going to need some work. Can they attract stuff? Will this detract people from coming? We'll have to wait now and see, but hopefully they can get their final win against the University of Hawaii tomorrow, and we'll see how things go this offseason. But unfortunate news for Max Gilliam, and I hope for him he can play tomorrow. I really do. So our Golden Knights have been one of the more busier expansion teams. That's what I read. And I'm like, hey, it's Vegas. We're always shuffling the deck. Yeah, you know what I mean? Gambling. It was supposed to be a little joke there. But yes, so potentially the Golden Knights could be up to some more trades. Now the 2021 NHL season will kick off January 13th, and so not too far away, about a month away. And there's some rumblings that maybe the Golden Knights could move Max Pacioretty or Jonathan Marchessault, which Marshy, that's my guy. That's been my guy from the beginning, so I'd hate to see him go, but I'd also hate to see Max Pacioretty go, because he's been a big deal. He's actually led the Golden Knights in goals, total points, even strength goals, and shots on goals this past season. So you think, really? Why would you get rid of a guy like that? Jonathan Marchessault had 22 goals this last year, which ranked 3rd on the Golden Knights, and he scored 47 total points, which ranked 4th behind Pacioretty, Mark Stone, and Riley Smith. So you think, really, you're getting rid of 2 of the most offensive, proficient guys? That's kind of weird. I do think the same thing, but again, I think if they're doing that, they must be doing it for a reason. Hopefully it pays off. They might be trying to get another blockbuster name, because that would create some cap space. Recently, obviously, they acquired defensiveman Alex Pietrangelo from the St. Louis Blues, who won the Stanley Cup. He was a part of the Stanley Cup team, like 2 years ago when they won it. So they could be trying to, land somebody else big. But again, I don't want to see that. I want to see Pacioretty and Marchessault stay. Again, I want to see the bulk of this offense play with Pietrangelo and see, can we have a great, team? Because we got the offensive power. The defense, is what needs a little work, is what I saw. But offensively, we're magnetic. And so I think we need to keep the core group together. Adding, Pietrangelo is great, and we'll see what he brings to the team. But we've already lost like Nate Schmidt and some others as well. I think we need to keep kind of the offensive core together. So I do not want to see this trade go down, but like everything, I will continue to follow this developing story. But go Knights go, please. Though let's not break my heart, or let's not break Vegas's heart, please. So last story pertains to our Las Vegas Aces, as the draft lottery was revealed last week, and for the second consecutive year, the New York Liberty will have the number 1 overall pick, who I feel bad for. Actually, it kind of works for their favor. They actually drafted point guard Sabrina, I'm gonna mess up her last name, I'm not even gonna try. But it starts with an I, and she was a special player, but she only played 3 games before she had a season-ending injury. I want to say it was like a torn MCL or ACL, some catastrophic like that, and I felt really bad for her. She seems to have a lot of promise. So for them to get her back and then get another number 1 pick, hey, great for them. The Aces actually will have the 12th and final pick behind the Seattle Storm, which is puzzling. The Seattle Storm beat us, and we get the last pick. They still get a pick in front of us. I don't know, but I am excited again that Kelsey Plum will be returning. Will we get Liz Cambage back? I hope so. She was a dominant force. Combine that with Asia Wilson. And then I don't know who the Aces are planning to go for, but I will definitely keep you updated. Now, the draft isn't supposed to be until April 2021, so I don't know what does that mean for the new season. Are they going back to their old timetable, maybe starting the season in May? Aces, everybody's going to have a long time off, which is good. Get some rest, kind of recuperate. It was a long... well, not really long, but delayed season. So I think, if everybody can kind of recuperate, we can get maybe back to our normal schedule. We'll see. But that is the draft lottery. That is the latest news, and that is all for me this week. 2 weeks until Christmas. Hopefully you're getting all your gifts, and hopefully Santa's working hard up there at the North Pole, especially this year with COVID. So yeah, he's got a lot of work to do, and I just hope that you get everything you want. I will be back to see you next week. It will be my final episode of 2020. I will explain more then, but until then, take care of yourselves. X marks the spot. Don't know what that means, but it does. Have a great weekend.